Hi, welcome to Engineering Clinic. So, in this video, you are going to see a topic called as dedicated short range communication. So, this is actually video part number one. So, part number one. So, we are going to see the description of dedicated short range communication, which is helpful for wave. So, wave means wireless access in vehicular environments. Okay, so that's what. So there's a new standard called as 1609 standard. So this entire project is implemented in this vehicular environment 1609. Actually the standard is standard in 2010. Later on there was some models in 2012. Okay, but still this day this protocol has been used with different protocols. So one protocol being 802.11p, which is mainly for wave. So wave means wireless access in vehicular environments. So in this wave protocol, the DSRC as a queue will be implemented. Okay, so this is what the dedicated short range communication protocol is been worked out. Okay, so this is a part number video part one video. So in this video we are going to see uh, how the code is implemented in the DSRC protocol. So as far as NS2 is concerned, if you want to add a new protocol, you have to do multiple changes. So one change will be changing the make file. So one thing is your make file dot input should be changed. So the following files should be changed. Should be changed. So this one. So make file dot in, then packet dot h, then common dot h, then nslib.tcl, then ns-default.tcl. So these files has to be changed apart from the original algorithm. So this is how the way the entire coding will be implemented. So in this example I will be explaining you the source code of each and every protocol. Okay, so what I do is the deliverables will be, so how I can give the source code is, so deliverables usually will be the complete virtual machine I will give. So virtual machine means, so all modules inbuilt to run DSRC protocol. So this is how the way I will be giving you the complete virtual machine, because installing will be taking much time and there will be so many complications will be there while installing NS2. So what I do is I will do all the installation from my side, then I will give a 2 GB or 3 GB of file that can be downloaded, so that that can be unzipped and then we can be using VirtualBox, Oracle VirtualBox, which can be useful for Oracle VirtualBox or VMware Workstation. So through this software you can able to run this example. Okay, so now we have a folder already. We have created, the folder is created. So in NS all-in-one hyphen 2.35 slash NS hyphen 2.35. So in this we have an example called as DSRC folder. So in this folder there are so many files available. So in my case it is home slash Pradeep Kumar slash. So this is the complete path where the DSRC source codes are available. So I mean the algorithms are available. So in this algorithm, how we can DSRC description. I will give this file name also, DSRC description. So the entire source code is available. So let me open it. So first what I do is I'll just go to NS 2.35. Then I'll be going to NS 2.35 here. Then I'll be going to DSRC protocol. So DSRC, there is a protocol here somewhere. DSRC, you can see here DSRC. So I'll just double click this. So these are the source files available here. So you can see these are the source codes. So leaving out the object files, we have to see the header files and the CC files. So we have DSRC app.h, channel scheduler.h, then DSRC main protocol, then round robin, then DSRC channel schedule.cc. So first I'll go all the header files one by one. So I'll open all the header files. So I'll open all the 4 header files. So in this header file, we have generally whenever you see a DSRC has the two things in the paper. As per the paper, it is given CCH, SCH, GCH. So God channel, that's what GCH. Then SCH means service channel. Then CCH means control channel. So as per DSRC, these three channels were implemented in the source code mainly. CCH, that's control channel, service channel, and the God channel. So these three things were implemented. So now first thing is I'll go with the round robin fashion. So in the round robin, you can see the header file. We have the class round robin implemented with the channel scheduler. So channel scheduler is already scheduled in the channel scheduler header file. So here we have the header file channel scheduler. So here this is implemented here. So we can see class channel scheduler and class channel scheduler, it is reset. So first thing is the constructor is resetting it, and this is the destructor. So anyway, I'll just write down the commands over there. So it is a constructor. It is resetting the channel scheduler for the first time, and it's a destructor. So whenever the class is called, so the constructor will be called and it will be resetting it in the initially. So channel scheduler destructor, it doesn't do anything. So simply it will be deleting it from the memory. So we have the get next SCH means, so it is a get next service channel. So it will be working on generally it's working on 7 channels with a different frequency range. So those things we can able to control in TCL programming. So in the get next CH means, so it is a virtual function. For the next service channel, it will be incremented. So that's what this function. Since the virtual function, the function will be equal to 0. That's why it is a pure virtual function. Then there is a function called as add SCH. So add SCH means add the service channel. So the service channel number will be specified in the parameters. So integer. So it could be channel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Totally 7 channels can be used as per the description of DSRC. So we can use any one of these channel here. Then we have a reset function. So this is the reset function that is used here, and remove SCH. So after the service channel, if you want to remove it, we can able to remove the service channel. Then bool active service channel. So that means that which service channel is currently active, so that we can able to find whether it is active or not. Since the value is returning a boolean variable, so we can either 0 means not active, 1 means it is active. Then number of active channels. How many number of active channels are currently in line? So this is what the channel scheduler.header file will be doing it. So in the .cc file, all these functions they might have implemented it. Anyway, we'll see that in the next thing. So now we'll come to round robin.h. In the round robin, you can see the round robin is a subclass which is inheriting the property from the channel scheduler. The channel scheduler is already given here. Okay. So round robin channel scheduler. So current index. So what is the current index? Then the destructor is called destructor will be empty function. Then int get next SCH next service channel integer protector current index. So round robin means after each and every channel is serviced, it will go to the next channel. So next until all the channels are being used or occupied. After all the channels are over, again it starts from the beginning. So this is what the round robin service channel. So you can see here several algorithms can be used for channel scheduling during SCH. We present here a round robin scheduler for completeness. Other algorithms can be suggested by researchers. In case if you want to do any new research, so instead of round robin, you can able to do other algorithms. So this is on the round robin. Now next thing is DSRC constant. So there are some constant files. So SCH number, that is service channel number is 6. Then control channel number is by default minus 99. Then CCH slot means it is 0. SCH slot means it is 1, and God slot it is been number 2. So as I told you that control channel, service channel, and the God. So the God slot will be number 2. So whenever you define CCH slot, automatically the value will be allocated as 0. Whenever you use SCH slot, the value will be allocated as 1. Okay. So then CCH type packet. So this type packet will be 1 and SCH type packet will be 2. So generally there are two things. One is service channel, another is a control channel. Control channel 0, service channel 1. Then time slot. So 0.05 seconds and SCH also 0.05 seconds. Whereas guard time is 0.004 seconds because guard time is only for guarding the particular channel. So that's why it is just 4 milliseconds. So approximately this is 4 milliseconds. 4 milliseconds. Okay, these two 50 milliseconds. That's what 0.05. Then purge is 0, reinsert is 1. Purging means so common data will be mixed together or combined together. That is purging. Reinsert means so just reinserting the data which is for which is given as 1. So these are the constants. Okay. So this is the constant DSRC constant.h. Now next thing is DSRC app. So in the app here, we can see, so we have a header DSRC app, header structure. So what are the different header structure? So you can check it here. Before that we have two classes. DSRC app is one class, DSRC broadcast timer. So generally a broadcast timer will be there in all the protocols. That is for so how long the broadcast packet will be existing in the network. So that should have a timer, because the broadcast after a period of time again there should be some rebroadcast. So we have to have a broadcast timer. So that's why we have another class called as DSRC broadcast timer. Okay. So now you can see in the header DSRC app we have sequence number, app ID, X source and Y source. There is X axis or Y axis, and we have an access packet offset. So offset means if 8 packets is given, then offset, the second offset will be packet size plus 8 bytes. Third will be packet size plus 16 bytes, then 24 bytes, then 32 bytes. That's what we call it as offset. Okay, so we have the return offset value. So static integer offset is a function that returns the number of how many offsets the packet has been added. So then we have a DSRC app, it is an access. So how to access each and every packet. So the packet is completely constant. So it's a constant pointer. So the packet value cannot be altered. Then broadcast timer. So the timer, usually all the timer functions will be inheriting the property in NS2 with the property from public handler class. It's a timer handler class. So similarly, we have a DSRC app A. Then it have a handle and a schedule function. So there are two things: handle and the schedule function. And we have a event interrupt and a DSRC app handler. So there's a general DSRC app.header file. Next thing is DSRC. This is a main algorithm. So this main algorithm will explain now most of the things what we have implemented in the other header files. So one example you can see, we have class DSRC, then class slot timer. So because we are using God slot, CCH slot, control channel slot, and service channel slot, so that's why we use this slot timer. Okay, and so slot timer class is referred to as DSRC timer class in figure 3. Okay, that's right. And class slot timer public handler, as I already told you that all the timer classes, it will inherit the property from the handler class. So we have a class slot timer. So we have a schedule function, we have the handle function, and similarly we have the handler and the INTR. Okay, so now we have a DSRC class function. So the DSRC class function is implemented, it is inheriting the property from the queue class. So generally we use agent class, but DSRC is simply it is working on between car to car connectivity, vehicle to vehicle connectivity. It is mainly inheriting the property from the queue class. So that queue means, so the packet will be sent in a queue of packets. So that's why we use queue instead of an agent. So think of it. So agent means it's a transport agent, but here queue means it is on the transmission of packets. Okay. Now front class slot timer. So the slot timer is used as a front class. So now in this DSRC, this is a constructor. So in the following is a constructor. So this constructor have these functions like this: CCH timer, SCH timer, guard timer, and channel scheduler. So these are the 4 functions available in the DSRC constructor. So in that case, how we can able to use a service channel? If I equal to integer I0, I less than SCH number, that means the number of the total number of service channels, and I plus plus SCH of I equal to new packet queue. So that means, so every time when the service channel is activated, a new packet queue will be generated for the corresponding service channel number. So then CCH equal to new packet queue. So CCH is another one that will be used here. Then channel equal to CCH channel, current slot equal to guard slot, next slot equal to CCH slot. So that means for each and every control channel slot, there will be a guard slot. So guard slot means no channel will be used. It is just for guarding it. So guarding. So after the guard over, so there will be a CCH slot. So that's what here current slot will be guard slot, and next slot will be CCH slot. Then define here the strategy to adapt with untransmitted packets. If at all a packet is not yet been transmitted or not yet to transmitted, so then we can use the reinsert function. So already we have seen the reinsert option there. So this reinsert we can use it. So the reinsert in the constant, we can see that it is value number 1. So we will be using the value number 1 here. So that's what here reinsert. Then if not defined, DSRC disabled. If the DSRC is disabled, so in case we have a DSRC disabled here, by default it is commented out. In case if you want to switch off DSRC, then you can uncomment this. So that's what they have given. Anyway, we are not switching off it, so let us not bother about this these 3 lines. Then the DSRC destructor. So this destructor, what it will do is, so this destructor will be deleting the service channel and deleting the control channel. Both will be deleted. Then we have the reset function. Then we have the command function. Then enqueue. The enqueue means the putting the packet into the queue. Then expire. Then packet dequeue. Dequeue means removing the packet from the queue. Then signal MAC. So we can able to say send the signal to the MAC layer and restart transmission. Then scheduler, service channel number and control channel number. So slot timer, CCH timer, ACH timer and guard timer. Then round robin, we call the round robin channel scheduler. So int is number of channels. So current slot and the next slot and the untransmitted packets, how we can able to deal with it. So that's all in this dsrc.h header file. So now in case if you want to check the .cc files, I'll just tell you close all the files. Now let me go with the .cc files. So totally there are 4 files in .cc. Okay. So now round robin, you can see this is a function get next ch. How the get next ch is implemented? If slot equal to service channel slot, then if number of active channels equal to 0, then return a CCH channel. That means that if the number of active channels is 0, means if now no channels are there, then return to the control channel. So no servicing is happening. So in that case, return to the control channel. Else, if the number of active channels is greater than or equal to 1, so then you can have active SCH. It means active service channel will be allocated to as 1. Then the current index. So which channel number is service number is running, so that you can, and finally you can return the CCH channel whenever if the SCH is not used. So this is what the round robin .cc file. So next thing is channel schedule, already we have seen. So then I will go with the channel schedule.cc. So in this head cc files, so we can see that add SCH. So add service channel number of the integer c. If c greater than or equal to 0 and c less than schedule number, I mean service channel number, then active SCH of c equal to 1. That means that, so what is active SCH channel? So according to the number of c greater than 0, if c is equal to 0, then service channel will be control channel will be used. So then incrementing the number of active channels plus plus. So it is a simple logic. So for adding the service channel, for removing it minus minus, that's it. Number of active channels minus minus, and resetting it. So all the active channel to reset to 0. Here active channel will be allocated to 1 in this case, but here it is everything will be allocated to 0 here. So very simple logic in the channel schedule. So next thing is dsrc app.c. So in the dsrc app.c, so here we can see the functions that are implemented here. So we have a packet header dsrc app. So this one of the name of the packet header. Anyway, we are not going to use it, but rather than we will be using the agent. So here you can see we are going to use the name called as agent/dsrc app. So this is a constant name. So how we use, like in NS2 we can use like this agent/tcp. So the same way here we use dsrc app. So that's what here given here. So in this we have the dsrc app. What are the different binding parameters? One is packet size, then channel, then interval, then modulation scheme, then type dsrc, multi-hop and type agent. So in this only we are going to have something called as bind. We'll be using hashing also. So hashing in future we'll be implementing this hashing also. So how this can be handled, so that we'll do it in the last part of the video, I mean part number 5. Okay. So by default we have packet size, channel, interval, modulation scheme, type dsrc, multi-hop and type agent. Then sequence number equal to 0, then id equal to idg plus plus. Then maximum number of applications, how many applications. So by default the number of applications is given as 100. So here the value of packet history will be totally to 100 applications. So that means the dsrc app can able to handle a maximum of 100 applications as per the value given in the dsrc app.h. I didn't show you that. So dsrc app.h. So here this is the dsrc app. So you can see here maximum applications is totally 100. Packet horizon is totally 1000. Okay. So then the command function. So in the command function we just sending the send function. For any broadcasting, we are just sending the broadcast function. Similarly, whenever we want to send hashing also, we can send one more command with the value called as hash. So it will be doing the hashing function in DSRC. So that we'll be seeing in the fifth part. Then DSRC app receiving the packet. So how the packet is received, then sending broadcast. So how the value of the broadcast packet, the packets are broadcast. So this is a general channel scheme. So how the packet is broadcast. But the main advantage here is, so we just find out the modulation scheme. So which modulation scheme we want to use. So there are 4 modulation scheme: BPSK, QPSK, QAM16, and QAM64. So based on the modulation scheme value. So this modulation scheme value we can able to vary whenever we see the demo. In the demo we can able to change the modulation function. So which modulation we want, we can able to do, because everything working, the DSRC protocol is mainly working on the channels. So the channel have what kind of modulation scheme also that we can select. So we can use these 4 modulation scheme. In case you can able to compare all the 4 modulation schemes as well. Okay. So then we have the forwarding function. So we have forward function, receive function, broadcast function. So these are all simple functions that usually we do in the networking. So that same logic is given inside. So getting the node by the address, after getting the node by the address, sending the packet through transport agent. Then the DSRC check is new. So how many applications it is running, and distance, how the distance is calculated between x, x1, y, y1. That means, so we already know the distance between two values is square root of x1 minus x2 the whole square plus y1 minus y2 the whole square. So usually to compute the distance between any 2 points. So the same formula is given here as the distance. So return square root of power means x minus x1 power of 2 means so x minus x1 the whole square plus y minus y1 the whole square. That means x1 minus x2, y1 minus y2 the whole square. The same formula. And the timer function. So because since it is a broadcast, forward, all these things, there is a timer involved in it. So the timer handler will be handling whenever it is sending the broadcast. So that's what the DSRC app will be doing it. And finally the main protocol DSRC.cc. So you can see that the queue class is at the queue/DSRC. So what kind of queue we will be using? So in this case we are going to use the queue called as DSRC queue. So in the DSRC queue, we have a function called the reset function. As we have already seen, the queue will be reset initially because the queue should not contain any elements. So that's why when the constructor is called, that queue will be empty in the beginning. So this empty queue when the constructor is called. So that's what the empty queue. So then afterwards, if the DSRC is disabled, then channel NQP, that means that the control channel will be enqueued, so that the DSRC is disabled. If not, then the enqueue function, it will be doing the putting the packet channel equal to channel, then type DSRC equal to channel.DSRC. Then we can schedule the number of packets. So the service type packet, what packet type we will be sending. So what is the number of the, how many channel number, service channel numbers, then how the packets are being enqueued. So the service channel, packet channel will be enqueued to the particular queue. So in case of this is for the SCH type packet. If it is for the CCH type packet, so it will be based on the CCH channel. If both are not there, it is a wrong combination. So anyway, we are not going to test the wrong combination. Either we'll be using service channel or we'll be using the control channel. Similarly, DQ. DQ means just deleting the particular packet from the queue. So either NQ or DQ. So queuing and dequeuing, NQ and DQ, we have two options. Either to be service channel, when the service is running, the control will not be doing anything. So when the control is running, the service will not be happening. So as a very simple logic there. Then expire. So how we can able to expire the SCH slot, CCH slot, and we have a guard slot. So how we can able to differentiate these three things. So SCH slot means signal MAC, next slot, current slot equal to next slot equal to CCH slot. So in the SCH slot, the next slot will be CCH. In the CCH, the next slot will be SCH. So very simple logic. So whenever the scheduler is there will be a guard time slot. Okay. So then finally signal MAC. So what the signal, the MAC function will be doing, because the entire function is implemented within the network and the data link layer. That is MAC layer to the data link layer. Sorry, network layer, the function is implemented. I mean, the DSRC protocol is implemented. The queue is implemented between two different layers, network layer and the MAC layer. Then restart transmission. So how we can able to restart? So here it is 802.11 extended version only. We are going to use this particular MAC layer. Then finally the handling and the scheduling event from the timer, slot timer. So yeah, very simple logic here. We'll just so these are the different .cc source files and the header source files. Okay, now I'll be this is part number one, video part number one. So in this, the basic explanation of DSRC protocol. So with the various functions. So the function name DSRC app.h and DSRC app.cc. This is one. Then DSRC.cc and DSRC .h. Then we have round robin .h and .cc. So then we have channel scheduler. So channel underscore schedule .cc and .h. So these are the various functions that have been implemented for the case of DSRC. Apart from that, some NS2 files also have been modified. So those modified files, anyway, let me not explain it there. So end of part number one. End of part one video. Okay. So in the part 2 video, I will be showing you how we can able to compile this DSRC protocol in NS2 and how we recompile it so that the existing NS2 will be working with this DSRC protocol. So hope you might have understand this DSRC protocol. So now the authors who have designed this source code or anyone, they have just given a source file, I mean the paper. So for more information, you can read this paper. So there's a paper called as modeling and simulation of wave 1609 based multi-channel vehicular ad hoc network. So this is the paper which they have just informed. So in case if you want to know more about this paper, so you can able to understand how the channel slot is working. So totally you can see, as I told you, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So totally 7 channels are there, and there are CCH slot, then G1, there is a guard, and SCH slot, CCH. So you can see alternatively there is a CCH and SCH is running. So reserved service channel, then control channel, service channel, reserved, like this. So this is how the way the spectrum is being worked out. Okay. So these things for your understanding, and whenever you want to explain this thing to during your research meetings or during your any seminars, you can make use of this paper. So this paper can make use of by understanding various parameters there. Okay, so end of part 1 video. So thank you for watching this video. Wait for the video number 2.